Charlie Kirk is melting down over the Trump indictment, and he has on Alan Dershowitz, or as I like to call him, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. And when Alan Dershowitz is not getting rubbed down by some teenager, he is doing terrible political and legal commentary. So here they are talking about the Trump indictment, and Dershowitz is going to make a point that is so immensely idiotic that it's record-breaking.
But there are threats to our civil liberties beyond just getting Trump. Can you talk about how this is bigger than Trump? About if you're able to do this to political opponents and dissidents, it sets bad precedent, it allows prosecutors to go above and beyond, and it actually makes us less free.
Without a doubt. There was a South American dictator who said, for my friends, everything, for my enemies, the law. You can use the law to get anybody, as Justice Jackson said, or as the KGB had said, show me the man and I'll find you the crime. This is the worst example in my 60 years of practicing criminal law, of targeting somebody for prosecution and then rummaging through the books, giving people immunity and trying to concoct a crime that doesn't exist. And if this is allowed to succeed, none of our liberties is safe. You know, today it's a Republican who's a target. Tomorrow it's a Democrat. And the day after tomorrow, it's your Uncle Charlie or your nephew or your niece.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be no limits on what prosecutors can do to their political enemies. And they're going to do it to people who are running against them for DA next. And it's just such a violation. And not only a violation of American law and civil liberties, it's actually a violation of the Bible. The Bible instructs judges two things. Don't take bribes, that's obvious. But the number one thing is don't recognize faces. And don't.
That's exactly right. Yes. Do not favor anyone in a court. Yes, that's exactly right. Yes. Continues. Yeah.
It's a violation of the Bible to go after Donald Trump. I mean, I know this isn't seemingly how he meant it, but there are going to be some people who take away the conclusion here that Donald Trump is part of some biblical prophecy. And that's why it's against the Bible to go after Donald Trump. I mean, I'm already seeing comparisons on Twitter of Donald Trump to, like, Nelson Mandela. Donald Trump to Jesus. Oh, he's being so persecuted unfairly, bro. And I love the idea of, like, man, first they do him. Who's coming next? Democrat? Your Uncle Charlie? Your nephew? Who's coming next, bro? When the reality is, he's being charged with crimes because he committed crimes. I mean, the argument they're making is like, just let him get away with the crimes because he's very powerful. That is an argument to protect elites come hell or high water. And he acts like, oh, they had to cobble together a case and piece together different things, bro. That's what they were doing. They found their target and then they looked for the crime. And it's like, dude, this is one of 43 different things where he should be going down. Whether it's this issue, which I grant you is not the most serious of all the ones that are on the table, whether it's the Georgia case of the find me 11,000 votes and the fake elector scheme, which is super serious, whether it's the classified document scandal, which there may even be evidence of like, hey, they were doing things that were totally improper and nefarious with those documents. I mean, Jared Kushner got a $2 billion payment. You're telling me there wasn't a consideration? What if I slipped the Saudis some intelligence? That's certainly a possibility. Now, that would have to be proven, but if indeed, there's some evidence there, we're talking major, major crimes. I haven't even gotten into, the stealing $250 million from his own supporters, defrauding them and saying this is going to go towards the, stop the steal, end the rigged election. And then that money just didn't go towards that. These are all things that have been uncovered. Never mind the tax fraud and the insurance fraud and the business fraud and the fact that when he was president, he took hundreds of thousands of dollars from Saudi Arabia through his DC hotel and then did favors for them directly, whether it's another weapons deal, multi-billion-dollar weapons deal, whether it's vetoing the bill that Bernie Sanders and Mike Lee got passed to end U.S. support for the genocide in Yemen. Trump sided with the genocide in Yemen, and a lot of that, I'm sure, had to do with financial contributions from Saudi Arabia. I mean, the list goes on and on, right? We've talked about every single angle of his crimes. And I haven't even touched, like, the literal war crimes as president that he committed. I haven't touched them. Over a 400% increase in drone strikes where 90% of them kill innocent people? And you're going to sit here and cry crocodile tears for this guy? Oh, this violates the Bible. Who cares? First of all, it doesn't. Second of all, even if it did, who cares what the Bible says? It also says eating shellfish is an abomination. There's also implications that the world is flat in there. That's like, it's as dumb as coming out and saying, if you go after Trump, that's disrespecting the Bhagavad Gita. Like, whoop-de-freaking-doo. You know, who cares? This is really not fair. It violates the Lord of the Rings. Like, who cares? What are we talking about here? This is the dumbest shit ever. And this guy's supposed to be serious legal mind, Alan Dershowitz. I give serious legal opinions. That's what I do. When I'm not hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, that's what I do. Sure, I was friends with the CEO of Elite Sex Crimes Incorporated, but don't you dare say anything that's sketchy about that. There's nothing sketchy about that. I'll show you if you say that there's anything sketchy about that. Jesus Christ. So anyway, these are the brilliant arguments that they're trotting out in order to defend Trump. If they came after him, so maybe they'll come after you. If you also commit crimes on a regular basis. I think you're going to be all right, man. I think you're going to be all right. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.